Greetings, everyone. Tim Anderson here, aka Renfell, and welcome to my final review for New World. I know originally I said I was going to be making this video after I got to max level. That's not going to happen. And I'm gonna talk about that a little bit in today's video. Because while New World is a really good game, and I definitely feel like I got my money's worth out of it, I'm not going to be continuing this game all the way to max level because I have reached burnout phase. And I haven't been playing obsessively. It's just there are a lot of things that I like about the game, but also a lot of things that I don't like about the game. And the moment that I stop having fun in a game, I stop playing that game. That's not to say I won't come back and try this at a later date, but there are some things that have sort of gotten to the point where for me it's just not worth it anymore. So I'm going to talk about that today. If this is your first time tuning in, let me know what you think. Obviously, a like always helps with the algorithm, as well as a comment in the section below. And if you want to subscribe to the channel and get more updates on other games that I play and the book reviews, the Mondays in MMORPGs, and all the other things that I do, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you get updates for all that stuff. And of course, join the Discord if you want. Links are in the description text below. All right, let's dive in. So, um, is this game worth it? Yes, it is. I paid $40 for this game, and I have gotten over 60 hours of enjoyment out of it so far. So in my mind, I definitely got my money's worth. I have had fun almost the entire time I've played. But once I got past level 30, which is the halfway point, and I know there are going to be some people in the comments who are going to say, "Oh, you didn't even get past level 35. Like, how can you make a review of a game if you whatever, shut up. I've played the game for 60 hours. I can absolutely make a review because by 60 hours, I know how the game plays. I know everything about the game. I can make a review on it. Once I hit 30 hours, I noticed a trend of just this incessable grind. And it is the grind that turned me off to Final Fantasy XIV when it first launched. And it's the grind that has turned me off to in a lot of games. And I say this, the caveat to this being those of you who know me, who have been around for a long time, know that, I was a full-time raider in EverQuest 1, EverQuest 2, Vanguard, etc. I used to play 80 hours a week and was in a top 5 worldwide guild. And I've been there. I've been at the cap doing those things. I have been the most grindy of all the grinders out there, but there are things that take me out of games these days. Um, I realize that it sounds like I'm pooping on New World, and again, I want to reiterate the fact that I got 60 hours out of this game, enjoyed most of that. Definitely got my money's worth for the $40 that I paid. I've paid 60 bucks for a lot of AAA games that only gave me 15, 20 hours worth of entertainment. So the fact that I got 60 hours out of this before I finally hit that brick wall, I have no complaints about the enjoyability of this game. This is just my opinion on why I won't be continuing. And again, I do think the game is worth it, but I do feel that it's worth sharing my negative opinions about things as well to help people make educated decisions. So I think most of the gameplay is enjoyable. I really like the harvesting and crafting. Um, I like the voiceovers. The sound design is some of the best I've ever seen in an MMORPG before. Um, but ultimately, at the end of the day, the quest grind, and specifically I'm talking about the PvE quest grind, is so fucking bad that it just I hit a brick wall and I don't want to continue anymore. I don't participate in PvP, and I have seen a lot of reviews coming out in the last few days, and the Reddit and so on and so forth, where people are talking about how the game has all these positives related to the PvP side of the game, but the PvE side of the game is where things kind of have fallen apart. Which makes sense considering this was originally supposed to be a hardcore PvP game, and then they only turned around and added, the PvE aspects to it later on in the development process. So those are kind of lacking in my mind. They haven't had as much time to be polished or had as much time to be developed as the PvP components. So since I don't play PvP, I can't speak to that side of the game. I can only speak to the PvE side of it. And the PvE side of the game, the quest system is one of, if not the worst in any MMORPG I have ever played. I gave up on doing the faction quests by like level 10. I was like, screw this. I am not going to go out there and grind repeatable fetch quests to get faction for what? To get some cool cosmetic gear and some gear for my character and so on and so forth. Um, I did enough to get my gems of holding so that I could make bags for myself at level whatever 10 or 15 and then again at level 30. But above and beyond that, I just have not touched the faction quests because those are just atrocious. The settlement quests are somewhat better in the sense that at least those are mostly voiced. The voice acting is really good, but the stories are super generic and they pretty much repeat themselves over and over and over. The same goes for the notes that you find in the game world that supposedly to give you insight into the story of the game. It pretty much goes like this: so and so is missing, or such and such thing was left behind in this settlement or this farm. Please go over there and get it for me. And you go there, and lo and behold, it's been overtaken by corrupted. And then if you find notes, oh, so and so came here, and we're being attacked, and we've been overrun, and so turned, and blah. It's just an endless, repeated Walking Dead scenario, which is also one of the reasons I quit watching The Walking Dead after like 7 seasons, is just because I was like, you know what, this is just, it's repetitive bullshit at this point. Um, I never felt like the main story was going anywhere. And again, some people have said, "Oh, if you just stick it out, it gets." I don't have the time. I can't be bothered. I have better things to do with my time than participate in a system that's not fun for me. It may be that the story gets better the deeper you get into the main storyline. But the reason that I don't like this system, it's the same reason, again, I said this earlier, the same reason I didn't play Final Fantasy XIV at the beginning, the reason I quit after Realm Reborn came out, was because I have to go grind dozens of hours of side quests and fetch quests and settlement quests in order to get my level high enough to progress through the main storyline. And the only thing I care about is story. I am a lore based player. So I need there to be a good story to the game to keep me interested, to keep me moving forward. Perfect examples of this are, Lord of the Rings Online. Love the book quest, the epic quest lines, the book volumes. Phenomenal. Best I've ever seen in an MMORPG. Star Wars The Old Republic. Again, great class missions. The world missions are a little boring, but the class missions are great. Um, Looking at New World, it's just not there for me. This is the one thing that ultimately took me out of the game because I love the harvesting, I love the crafting. It's a beautiful game visually. Again, sound design is great, voice acting is great. It's a good game, but that quest system is just ah! When you make me grind 10 hours so that I can go do one quest in the main quest line, and then all of a sudden the next quest is like 2 or 3 levels higher, and I gotta go grind another 6 hours or so to get enough levels to do the next step of the quest in the main quest line. I'm out at that point. Like, I just don't. I have no desire to play that type of game. And if the settlement quests had more variety, or they had storylines that were more involving and were more than just generic fetch quests that repeat themselves for every settlement. Go here, oh, it's another farm that's been overtaken by corrupted. Go here, it's another thing that's been overtaken by corrupted. Another, it got old for me, everybody. So ultimately, that's kind of where I'm at. Now, I would be happy to come back to this game if they, you know, make some changes to the leveling progression. So one of the reasons I'm having so much fun, or I should say one of the reasons I'm having more fun now in Final Fantasy XIV, and one of the reasons I was willing to come back to it all these years later, is because they sped up the leveling progression so that I don't have to go out and do all of the boring, stupid side quests and fetch quests to stay up to the main storyline. I can just do the main storyline and get enough levels with that main storyline to keep my character continually progressing through interesting story content. Because even though there are lots of fetch quest elements to Final Fantasy XIV, and I don't like the weebiness of the content sometimes, I don't have to do side quests. So I'm constantly progressing forward and moving that main story along. So it keeps me entertained. Not so with New World. So if they make some changes to this game and they speed that process up to where I can come back and just progress through the main storyline and do side quests as they're as they should be, side quests, not optional, excuse me, side quests that are optional, not side quests that are mandatory grinding to keep your levels high enough to do the main quest. If they make that change, I'd be happy to come back and give this game more time. But as it is, I feel like I've already invested 60 hours into it. I got my 40 bucks out of it. I got my enjoyment out of it. I did not necessarily have a bad time until I started getting close to level 35. I think I'm 34 on my character right now. I'd have to log in and check. But I haven't even logged in for a week now. And I decided I was just going to make this video because I was like, you know what? I can't be bothered. Like I have no desire to log in anymore because the last time I logged in, it was like I played for 5 hours and got one level, and I need more levels to even get to the point where I can progress the main storyline. And it's just like, why? At this point, why? Why would I go grind half a dozen hours of boring side quests, when I know I'm just going to have to do it again to get to the next level? And it's just, yeah, that took me out. So at the end of the day, New World, is it worth it? I think it is. I think it is a good game. And if you're looking for something that's going to give you entertainment, you're going to get entertainment out of this. Like I said, for 40 bucks, it's a very low price point for a AAA game. There's no monthly subscription. You can jump in and get, 30, 40, 50, 60 hours of gameplay out of this minimum. Just like I did playing over the course of a few weeks. And I think when you look at the monetary value, I think, yeah, it's worth it from that perspective. Is it fun? That's going to be subjective because it depends on what you like to do. Again, I don't tap into the PvP side of the game, so that's a whole nother, it's a whole nother thing. And some people love the PvP, and I admit it looks intriguing, but I just don't like to participate in PvP, so I've left that alone. So when I look at the PvE side of the game, ultimately the quest grind is what eventually made me say, you know what, I'm just not having fun. I'm not going to log in anymore. I'm going to go off and play other things, and I'll wait and see if they patch this game up in the future. So hopefully that can help educate you a little bit on at least my perspective of New World and what I think about it, why I'm kind of, quitting it for now. I'm going to wait and see if they patch more stuff into it. That's the nice thing about this not being a monthly subscription, and it's a buy once, own it forever. So I can just sit back and wait and see if they patch stuff in that will eventually maybe bring me back to the game, which Final Fantasy XIV did that for me, for sure. I came back several years later, and I'm now having fun in that. So maybe the New World will do the same. In the meantime, thanks everybody for watching. Let me know in the comments below if you agree or disagree. Like, dislike, it's all good. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon if you want more content like this. Again, I'm not always going to be glowing review of a game. This is probably the most negative review I've ever given of a game before, but I would still, if I had to rate this on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it a 6, maybe a 7, somewhere in there. So it's not horrible. It's just there are a few things that just aren't right for me. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Don't forget you can join our Discord. Links are below. I'll see everybody in the next episode. Stay safe, stay healthy. See you in the next game.